Welcome back to another episode of Studs Predictions. We got Almeida versus Lewis in Sao Paulo. Santi, kick us off. First fight of the main card.
We have one half of the Bonfim brothers as Ismael Bonfim versus Vince Pichel. I'm pretty sure that's how you say it. Listen, Ismael did not look good against Benoit Saint-Denis. He was supposed to beat Benoit Saint-Denis. He was minus 300, minus 400. I'm pretty sure that was the betting line. I wouldn't be too worried about this fight. I mean, Vince is 40 years old. He is kind of in that Jim Miller range, but a lot worse. And he just doesn't have what Ismael can bring to him on par. There's nothing that Vince is really amazing at other than grit. And he may take this all the way to a decision. That's what I'm going with. I'm going with Ismael Bonfim to win by decision. I just wouldn't be too worried about this one, given the last one is against such a stud like Benoit Saint-Denis.
I feel like it's so funny. Every time we talk about a white dude in any type of sport, you always say that he has grit and he's like a hard worker and stuff like that. Don't get it twisted, man. And this is going to be a nice little spoiler for my next pick in the main card. Go with the Bonfim brothers. Parlay them if you want. Put them together. We're in Brazil, bro. That's easy as it is, man.
Yeah, especially on this card, the UFC is definitely doing a favor to these Brazilians, giving them somewhat of a favorable matchup. But then we go to the next matchup, and it completely eats my words. This is a very big pick'em fight. It is Rodolfo Vieira versus Armin Petrosyan. You have a grappler versus striker matchup going on in this one. Both of them really don't have the third round cardio that we're looking for to be a good middleweight contender. Rodolfo Vieira, if we talk about his credentials, it's a whole video. I mean, this guy is BJJ champ, ACDC, everything, bro. Just keep letting it play on. He's amazing. Armin Petrosyan, K1 kickboxer, on beautiful kicks, beautiful striking overall. I think that if this fight gets to the ground, it's over, and I would rather favor that in a 15-minute time span than Armin Petrosyan trying to get a knockout in a 15-minute time span. Rodolfo Vieira is very tough to knock out. He does get tired, and that will help the chin to slowly deteriorate, but I think Rodolfo gets this fight in the ground early, given just the size of this man, and gets a submission in either round one or round two.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to agree with that only because, like, we're in Brazil, you know what I mean? You always give that edge to that fighter, but again, anytime it's a pick'em fight, you always go with the wrestler. Anytime that someone can just be held down and kind of work their magic on the ground, again, he has all the credentials. He's going up against a kickboxer. Yes, the fight starts standing up. It's not going to stay that way. And honestly, it sucks to say it, but Rodolfo is going to be the pick here.
In an MMA match, you got to choose the guy that can properly have MMA credentials. And it is a lot easier to grapple. It is a lot easier to strike than it is to grapple. Especially if you have a grappling advantage like Rodolfo Vieira, everyone's going to think you're going to grapple. So your striking can end up actually opening up because people are fearful for that takedown. I mean, the biggest case of that was Khabib against Conor when he threw that overhand. Conor's hands immediately went down for that takedown, and he was able to get that overhand. So when you have MMA fights like this, you always go for the grappler because their striking will open up because of the takedown fear. And we'll go to the next one as we have Caio Borralho, and I'm going to call him Paulo Costa 2.0, against Abus Magomedov, a guy that is either Russian, German, or American. We really have no fucking clue anymore. Caio Borralho is one of the better middleweight prospects. I mean, this guy's up there with Bo Nickel, in my opinion. His striking's crispy. His double leg is fast. He kind of gives me Jolt and Almeida vibes in middleweight. And Abus, we saw in his last fight against the champ, Sean Strickland. He just can't go for more than a round, it looks like. I don't know if he blew too hot and, you know, he got that UFC jitters finally, but with first round KOs everywhere and there's no real question about this gas tank, I'm going Caio Borralho in a late round finish. I just think Abus, no matter what about cardio or he blew too hot, the fact that you blow out in a first round when, I mean, he didn't really do too much, anything stellar, makes me have questions about that gas tank. I'm going Kyle Borjalho, and I think the betting line is showing about the gas tank of Abus.
I think this will be the first Magomedov that I'm not going to choose. And I think Kai is just an overall better fighter. And I actually have him in the second round. I don't have him in that third round. I have him in the second round because of that gas tank. Yes, we saw, what was it, a first round knockout of the champ. I mean, like, again, it's Sean Strickland. It's the champ. But I don't know what it is, man. Give me the Brazilian in Sao Paulo that can just do almost everything better than Abus can right now.
Abus, if he did have 3-round cardio, this could be a very good fight because Abus's takedowns, obviously he's Russian, he has good takedown defense, but he's primarily a striker, and his striking is very crispy. But if that cannot be held up over 1 round, you gotta go with Kyle. But if this is a fight with cardio and Abus actually can go to 3 rounds, I'm telling you right now, this is fight of the night. Ring it in, bring me my plate. Fight of the night right now as we speak, because when you have a striker like Abus go up against a wrestler like Kyle, you could either have one of two things. Kyle dominates, or Abus stuffs the takedown, and then we have a wild striking exchange. So I'm going fight of the night. And then we go to heavyweights, big boy heavyweights. Dontel Mays, the reason why we don't see John Jones right now is because of him, is against Rodrigo Nascimento. Yeah, not fun to be Dontel Mays, kind of ruining a December card. But I'm going Rodrigo Nascimento. This guy's already ranked. He has all the tails to be a good, almost like De Lima in heavyweight division, where he has the good wrestling, he has very fast hands, but the wrestling is definitely where it's at. And Rodrigo is already ranked, and Dontel Mays had issues with Augusto Sakai wearing on him, so I think Rodrigo can actually do the same thing, although he doesn't have the same physical features as Augusto Sakai. I still think he does wear on him and actually gets this to a decision. I think Dontel Mays is a little too tough for his own good, so I don't see him getting hurt whatsoever. So give me Rodrigo Nascimento by decision.
Essentially going to go against Mays because he hurt John Jones. But in all seriousness, this will give away my lock of the card, which is Nascimento. And any type of stat you want to give, whether it's takedown defense, whether it's takedowns landed, whether it's punches absorbed, punches given, Nascimento beats him in everything. And this guy is obviously ranked. He is a stud. He is, I think, on the rise. And obviously there are things that have to be sculpted in his game, but everything's there. He has to get more reps in. And it starts with just mowing through Dante and, hey, let's do it. Nascimento, Brazil, Copa Mundo, you know?
And just a reminder, I don't know if you did your homework, Andy. This fight already happened. This was Overeem versus Walt Harris way back when Walt Harris was that heavyweight contender. They actually did fight already, and Nascimento got a 2nd round submission. So it's going back to the tails of getting the takedown, wearing him out, getting that submission. I think Rodrigo can do that very easily. So both of us going with Rodrigo in this one. And then we have the second Bonfim brother. We have Gabriel Bonfim versus Nicholas Dalby. Dalby's 2nd stint in the UFC. He's looked a lot better. This is the better of the Bonfims, in my opinion. This guy has insane guillotines. His striking is very good. The only issue I have with Bonfim is he comes out so aggressive and kind of wild. It doesn't give me Johnny Walker vibes, but it gives me like I don't know how to explain it, but there's such a big possibility he gets caught. And it's never good to walk into an octagon and just immediately start moving without trying to get your feints going, get your work in. So that is always scary for me. But Nicholas Dalby does not hit that hard, in my opinion. Nicholas Dalby is definitely a decision kickboxer. He's a great one, don't get me wrong. But I think Gabriel Bonfim can use his wrestling, use his striking, get to a decision, because I don't think he can finish Nicholas Dalby unless it's a submission that he catches him with.
Yeah, it's tough going against the Viking here in Dalby, but I'm definitely going to go with the second part of the Bonfim brothers. And again, talking about him being the better one. I just think he has to be more refined in what he does. And I think that's going to serve him better going in the UFC. But having said that, again, I'm not overthinking this. I'm taking him. I'm running away with it. Maybe give me a late round finish if he can grab a neck or something like that. But maybe a decision. But give me him all day.
For anyone that's looking to bet on this fight or bet on the Bonfim brothers, because people love betting on brothers, I think Gabriel Bonfim could get a finish, and I think Ismail can't, because I think Vince is way too tough. So if you do want to sprinkle, because the betting lines are wild. I mean, minus 650 and minus 300, you're not going to get much. So if you want to sprinkle on maybe a method of victory, or will the fight go the distance, like this person winning by distance, that's totally possible. I think Ismail will win by decision, and I think Gabriel Bonfim can get a late stoppage or a decision. So if you want to pick your poison, if you really want to go for these wild odds, then go for it. And if we're going to talk about wild odds, we're going to the next one. The main event, Jailton Almeida versus Derek Lewis. Jailton Almeida, you will see a stud short that's coming. I think this guy's going to be champion. I think in the coming time, you give a guy this good, a Cyril Gane, a Tom Aspinall. You got to wait until John Jones and all of them, kind of start leaving before you can talk about Jailton Almeida as the champ. This guy shoots double legs like lightweights. I mean, this is such a fast shot that we're talking. You want to talk about the Jorge Masvidal knee, the what people do in openers, the Verdum flying kick. What about Jailton Almeida throwing a double leg in a minute? Before a minute hits, he'll throw a teep and a double leg. Teep, double leg. The only way that Derek Lewis wins this is if he does a Curtis Blades 2.0, where he somehow uppercuts when Jailton shoots. Why don't I believe that will happen is because Jailton actually does a proper wrestling shot where he drives the knee and everything. Curtis Blades grabs. He will lunge down and grab, which is not what proper wrestlers do. Give me Jailton Almeida by first round submission. If there was a sports book out there that I could choose what submission, rear naked choke in the first. I want to know what odds that is. That's probably like plus like 330, probably more.
Calling your shot is crazy.
I'm calling my shot, and if this happens, I want a short of me in gray saying this, and then just a dart right to the fight, like just dart right there, dude. Because I don't think a lot of people can beat Jailton Almeida. The only people I think that can beat him is Tom Aspinall and Sergey Pavlovich. Those are the only two I think. I think Cyril Gane's wrestling is very questionable, especially after that John Jones win. So I just don't think a lot of people beat this guy. And this is another step towards a champ.
Yeah, it is so difficult to go against Almeida. This is your boy right here. I know that. So, like, we all love, the Derek Lewis, and I don't know why I was going to call him Derek Henry for some reason, but
if Derek Henry fought, it'd be what Derek Lewis is.
Yeah, but everyone knows what Derek Lewis is. He's that knockout guy. Hey, I don't think it's going to be a first round. I think, he's going to pull the jiu-jitsu stake and just lift him up. I think that might happen. I don't think he gets a rear naked either, but I do think Almeida gets him and a nice little head and arm. I'm calling that one. That's my pick. I think it ends. The odds are probably like under 2.5 rounds. Give me that. Give me the second round head and arm, Almeida. It sucks for Lewis, but we've just seen worse fighters put him out by submission or. I mean, look at the last 3 fights. He's only won 1, and the one was crazy fucking finish that no one saw coming.
Lima said his teeth felt loosened after the fight. I just want to run through some stats with Jailton Almeida. He's only been to the third round once. He's only finished the fight, a fight 15 minutes once, and it was against Bruno Assis. We should bring him on and have an interview with him. In the UFC, Dana White Contender Series, second round. These are all wins, by the way. And then you go first round, KO, first round sub, second round KO TKO. That was against Shamil. and then first round sub Jarzinho. This guy is, if this is under 2, I hope the line is 2.5. I will bet my whole mortgage on 2.5 because Derek Lewis is not going to let it go to 2.5 unless he has a back issue. And Jolton Almeida for sure is not going to let it happen at 2.5. This is one of my locks, in my opinion. Another one of my locks, and you can lock it in for a top 5 welterweight in the coming years, is Rinat Fakhretdinov versus Eliseu Zaleski dos Santos. Eliseu is great. Don't get me wrong. He is honestly a stud. I mean, when he was in his 30s, like early 30s, this guy was running through house, and he is very skilled. This is a very, very skilled fight. But the way Rinat is looking with his subs and the overhand that he all of a sudden has, give me Rinat, and as well, give me the Peruvian Daniel Marcos against Victor Hugo. Why do I say this? Victor Hugo fought just a couple weeks ago in Contender Series. This is his first fight on the UFC card. He's against a guy that is well tested. In he's fought Davy Grant. He is 15-0, lethal striker. Victor Hugo said he can compete with the top 5 of bantamweight right now. That Contender Series fight didn't tell me he could compete with the top 5 of bantamweight. And I think throwing him to the wolves this early is going to show that Daniel Marcos is that guy and Victor Hugo isn't. So I'm going Daniel Marcos. I'm going by a decision because Daniel Marcos loves going to a decision. But those are my locks for the card. I'm going with the main event. You can go with the Bonfim brothers and the 2 fights that I just had. Put that in a little parlay. You probably won't get much, but you'll get something. A little sprinkle. Get a little sprinkle on there.
For my pick, for my lock, it's got to be Nascimento. The world is against Dontel right now, and I am one of them. Again, at the end of the day, Nascimento is just better. He's better in every category. He has more output. I'm gonna take him all day. It's simple. Brazil in Sao Paulo. Obrigado. Let's go.
I'm gonna ask a question. Are you picking Rodrigo because Dante Mays hurt John Jones? Or are you picking Rodrigo because Rodrigo can win this fight?
Yes.
On that note, please like, subscribe. Let us know your picks in the comments. But other than that, it's been stud, guys.